Young boy born in the M. Young boy come out the NG. Young boy born in the M. Young boy come out the NG. 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 Young boy born in the M. Young boy come out the.
Hello everybody. Thank you for joining me. I am the Organised Medic, and today what I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about my planner system for this year, because I have pretty much got all of my planners now, although it is February, so I know I'm late. But I'm just going to sort of do a quick overview of the planner system that I'm using, and I also want to do a flip through of my Hobonichi weeks. This is my sort of health and well-being planner / journal. So just to start, this is my entire planner system for 2022 as it stands at the moment in February 2022. So I'll quickly go through what I use these for. So this is the Hobonichi weeks. It is my smallest planner in the system, and it is inside a Moterm lychee leather burgundy cover with a gold zip. And what I do in here is, as I said, journaling and health and well-being. So I'll go through that in a bit more detail and I'll do a flip through. But I'll quickly tell you what else I'm using. So I'm using a Hobonichi Cousin in this kind of cream. It's actually a pearl leather cover, again from Moterm. And this is my work planner, my main planner, where I've got my sort of monthly view, weeks and days. So I will go through that in more detail in another video. I also have my goal planner, so I'm using a Cultivate What Matters power sheets planner, which I think a lot of people are now sort of familiar with. And this is one that I think this year in particular is quite popular. It's the first time I'm using this. I have ordered this from the States, which can be difficult living in the UK because the shipping is quite expensive. However, I've used Stackry, which I've put the link, my Stackry link down below. This is a sort of PO box system where you can order your American products to a US address, and then when you've accumulated a few things, so I bought some things from Cultivate What Matters. I also bought some things from Erin Condren. I combine the delivery together through Stackry, and then they send me just a huge box where they've repackaged it all together. And then I only pay a sort of international delivery charge once rather than for each product. So that was also my first time using Stackry, which was quite a good experience, I think, and I'll probably continue to use Stackry. So this has been fantastic, and I will do another video talking in much more detail about my goal planner. And the last planner that I'm using for 2022 is my finance planner. So this is a Happy Planner Big. It's so you can see it a bit more clearly now. This is a Happy Planner Big. This cover is not from Happy Planner. I got this from AliExpress. It's just a normal A4 size brown vegan leather cover, but the inserts inside here are from the Happy Planner. So I've got the expenses. I think it's a budget expander pack that I purchased. I'll talk a bit about that on a subsequent video. So all of my expenses and budgeting I do in here, and this stays at home. It's a very huge size planner, but I like it that way. So just to go into a little bit more detail about my Hobonichi weeks. So as I said, this is my Hobonichi weeks. It is my journal, and it is also my well-being planner. So I think the first thing is really the reason why I chose this size for my journal and wellbeing planner. So with journaling specifically, I feel like the more space I have to write, the higher the temptation there is for me to just write huge amounts. And in the past, I have found that when I tend to journal, it tends to be more when I'm feeling low or feeling stressed. And I just sort of pour out all of my feelings onto the page. And then in the future, when I stumble across that entry, it actually takes me back to that negative moment, and I find myself reliving those negative emotions, which is not very helpful. So in the last sort of few years, I've learned to focus on journaling intentionally, focusing on gratitude, wins of the day, still documenting a few key events in the day so that I am sort of able to go back and find out what was going on at that time, but not really being just led by my feelings and pouring them out page after page. And then on top of that, having a smaller size planner like this for journaling is helpful for me because the limited space makes the journaling a much more manageable commitment. I'm very busy, as most mums, working mothers are, and I'd rather write a small amount consistently than attempt to do more in-depth journaling and then just fall off the bandwagon. So I think it's just a better way of doing things. So I'm going to do a flip through this. So as you can see, this is a Hobonichi Weeks. It's the cream cover with the white line. And I do have a cover on cover from Midori that I purchased through Amazon. When you open it up, I haven't really done any decorations or anything like that. I would love to do those things. And I have actually purchased some stickers from Sterling Ink, which have arrived in my Stackry box, but I still need to get them shipped over to the UK. So I might use those to sort of pretty up some of these initial pages, particularly the year to view. So a page like this I might use to say track annual leave, but I'm actually doing this in my work planner in my A5, so I'm not using this for that. I also have my sort of year at a glance in a vertical form pages here. So with these pages, what I'm trying to do, what I plan to do is to track the time I spend with the children doing Bible study, which I haven't really started that yet, but that's the plan. And then I will hopefully be able to look back and see how I'm doing with that. Then we have the sort of monthly pages. So of course, the Hobonichi Weeks gives you the month of December from 2021, so you can start it a little bit early. I started this around Boxing Day, and so you can see I've just put a few stickers there. These are stickers that I made myself some years back when I was using a Filofax, and it's just surgical hands. My husband is a surgeon and he was on night, so these are just to denote the days that he was on night shifts. And so all I do is put a little bit of an overview of what's going on the month. This is much more detail in my work planner, so it's a little bit of repetition. But because my Hobonichi Weeks is January through December, whereas my Hobonichi Cousin is a spring start, so that's actually an April start all the way through to March the following year. So it's nice for me to have this because my Hobonichi that I'm using right now is still 2021 and it will end in March this year. So if I have something to put in for sort of June, July time, I can use this. So it's quite nice to have that. So I tend to put some priorities down here, although again, I use this space and reference it much more in my A5. And then I put connect here and I write a few names of individuals that I feel I need to kind of catch up with. So I've been finding that helpful as well. Again, when you're very busy, you don't always realize that you're not kind of maintaining relationships with people. So that's something that's quite important to me. And then so just flipping through the monthlies, I can kind of plan right to the future. So this is April, May. Apologies for the interruption. So this is April 2022, so sort of a bit of future planning, but nothing sort of major. But yeah, you can see here July, there's a conference that I'm hoping to attend, so I can put that in there so that by the time I get my, I have actually already received my spring Hobonichi for 2022. I can transfer the information across when I move into that. So for finding where I am, I'm using these brass page tabs. These are from Midori and I purchased mine from Amazon Japan. It just makes it quite easy to flip to the next page. They're very, very thin, very delicate. This is Tomoe River paper, which means it's very thin paper, takes fountain pen very, very well. I'm just going to take this out of the cover so it's easier for me to show you. So yeah, I'm using just two of these. So one to sort of take me to the monthly page, and the second one here, which takes me to the weekly page. So in terms of the weekly pages, again, Hobonichi Weeks starts earlier than the 1st of January. So in terms of the weeks, again, you get the whole of December actually, and you even get a little bit of November there. So let's have a look. Yeah, so it's actually started the 29th of November, but I was still using my Hobonichi Weeks from 2020 at that time. So I started this on Boxing Day, I think. Yeah, Boxing Day. So you can see here, I just did a little bit of journaling, and what I'm using this section for is the weather. So that's just to give it a bit of color, but also it's quite nice to flip back and see what was the weather like this week. So this was the sort of first day that I did that. So if I flip through, it's not very decorative. It's not particularly decorative. It's very functional. And having this small section to just do a tiny little bit of journaling, I find really helpful because it doesn't take me very long at all. It's helpful for me to just go back and have a look and see what was happening that day. And I try, as I say, I try to be a little bit intentional and write about positive things, wins for the day in particular. And I guess that's probably how I would summarize it, that it is more kind of wins for the day and any key events. Really, really brief, just one or two sentences, because that's all that will fit in here. And that's enough for me, really. And then in the center, what I'm doing here is the weather. So I started out, you can see here, using these stencils. I will show you the stencil, which is also a Hobonichi stencil. So I bought this and I was quite excited. I thought, oh yeah, that will be absolutely perfect. But actually, I found it quite difficult to use the stencil, and I kind of changed to just drawing them myself. So this is me trying to use the stencil, and this is me just drawing it out myself, and I just find it quicker and easier. I struggled a bit with the stencil. So since then, I've just been drawing them. So I do the weather for the week, and I tend to do this on a Sunday morning or Monday morning, and I do 3 check boxes, which are kind of my daily trackers. So M is for medication, G is for whether or not I went to the gym, and then SQ is for squats, because I tended to do squats just at home. I'd write the number of squats in the box, or just X if I didn't do any at all. So I'll just do you a quick kind of flip through January and see how I did it with January. What I found with 2021 is just using the planner in this way, I've been much more consistent. My 2020 Hobonichi weeks, I didn't have a specific plan for, and I was trying lots of different things. I didn't have that consistency. For this one, I decided very intentionally that I was going to use this section for journaling. This section, what I've been doing is writing my verse for today. I did used to have a separate faith planner, which was just a Matthew Williamson notebook. And that was great, but again, the consistency wasn't there. I wasn't necessarily reaching for it every day. Whereas with this, I know that I'm going to put my verse of the day at the bare minimum. And then I've got all of the extra note pages at the back to add more notes if I'm having quiet time or prayer or devotional. I wanted to make more sort of notes from Bible study. I can use these pages at the back, which I have done a little bit of that. But generally, I tend to just do the verse for the day, and I kind of can meditate on that throughout the day, and I find that really helpful. So it's kind of minimal commitment, and I find that helps me with consistency. So this is kind of the last week in December, first week of January. Now we're going to the first week in January, and as you can see, there's no space for decoration really. I don't know how people have the space for that, to be honest, but for me, I think because I'm using this for journaling and as a faith planner, and there's not much space anyway, it's full, and I'm quite happy with that. And so this is the following week in January. You can see here, because I didn't sort of in advance go and do the lines, I have very little time to write, and so I'm not going to kind of be doing the weather bits and the lines and the boxes if I'm at work, or particularly with the journaling. So if I'm out and about and I have this with me, if I'm doing something somewhere, I might write a little bit about it here. I don't have time to do anything decorative. So anything, not decorative, but setting up wise. So any setting up, I would do that on a Monday for the whole week, or on a Sunday for the whole week. And it's usually very early in the morning. So I have my own kind of quiet time in the morning from 5 a.m. to about 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. every morning, which is something that I have tried to incorporate into my routine for this year to be much more consistent with. And I'll talk a bit about that in a future video. So this again is later on in January. Again, you can see I haven't put the lines in, and later on I sort of thought, gosh, why does this look different to some of the previous pages? And I realized I hadn't put the lines in. So then when I was setting up for the next week, I made sure that I didn't just do the lines for that week, but I did the lines for a few weeks, kind of going further forward, sorry, because it's something that I would forget. So I sort of tick here. Now this is a sticker that I made a few years ago now. Again, when I was using my Filofax Malden, I was basically tracking the days that I didn't drink alcohol and the days that I did drink alcohol. And that was a huge A5 planner, so I had lots of space. So I had this was my sober Stewie sticker, and I had a drunk Stewie sticker, which I don't have any left of those, unfortunately. And I just found this when I was cleaning through some of my things. I thought, oh, I have my sober Stewie, and this was a sober day. So I thought I'd just pop him there. And it was really after this week that I thought what I will do is start tracking my alcohol intake again. But the Stewie stickers for this smaller planner are quite a bit too big. So I am just now having a little box that says NA, which means no alcohol, and tick if I haven't drunk any alcohol that day. So I started doing that instead. So this is now end of January going into February. So this is first week of February. I continued with the NA for tracking alcohol, medication every day. It should always be ticked, really. Gym, I was doing better, a couple of days here to the gym. A tracker that sort of shows you the whole week at a glance would probably be better, because I'd have a better idea of how I'm doing. But I think even just having these checkboxes to tick at some point, if I wanted to go back and track that, I could, but I don't see myself having the time, to be honest. And then this is the first week of February, basically just last week, all the way up to yesterday. And then what I've done this week, which today is a Monday. So what I've done this week is I have just got rid of the squats, because I've joined a new gym and I'm doing sort of deadlifts and squats with weights and things. And so I just finding that this squats box is a bit redundant, because I'm doing more squats and deadlift at the gym anyway. I'm not really doing squats at home as much. And I think if I do, I don't really need to track that. I really need to try and get out to the gym as much as possible. So I have just put gym and I've got rid of the squats box and just put NA, meaning, well, I've actually just changed it to N for no alcohol, just because it's a bit easier, looks a bit better. So what I did this morning, about 5 a.m, I had my quiet time. Then I sort of do my lines, do my verse of the day, and then do the weather just from the Apple weather app. And then this evening, before I go to bed, I'll probably write something here. Sometimes I do it during the day as well. If I'm out and about, I might write something, but it's usually just before I go to bed. I'll just write a couple of sentences. And if I don't get to do it before I go to bed, then tomorrow morning when I have my quiet time and do my verse of the day, I will reflect on the previous day and write what happened, say, yesterday there. And I find it very easy. It's very achievable, and it's the most consistent that I've been in a planner so far. So every single page for every single week is full, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. So it's a big change from how I was using this planner last year. I think last year there was not really any rhyme or reason or focus, and so I've really enjoyed the way I'm using it this year, and I'm hoping that will continue. Pen wise, I started off using my different fountain pens, so I have a few here, which I can talk about in another video. But more recently I did buy an Energel Planner, which I've seen all over planner videos on YouTube, and it's a cool pen to have. I really enjoy it. Of course, it's not a fountain pen, but it's really kind of handy. It writes really well, and I'm happy with it. So I'll probably get a few more. This Moterm cover is really nice. I like the fact that it's a zip cover. It doesn't fit in the sleeve with this cover on cover, so I just put it in this little secretarial pocket, and it stays in there nicely. And of course I have some block paper. This is the Urbane or Albin, I guess it's French, block paper that I put just when I'm writing to stop ink going onto the other side of the page. So that's it really. Yeah, so this is my journaling / health and wellbeing planner. I hope you found this useful, and it would be really great to know how you guys are using your planners, particularly for Hobonichi weeks, what kind of things you're doing. My aim really is to use this as functionally as possible, trying not to kind of spend too much time doing things that are not going to be beneficial to me. So when I use this planner, when I write out the verse for the day, I kind of read the verse for the day, write it out, and then I have that in my mind and I can meditate on that throughout the day. Writing a little reflection at the end of the day I find really helpful. And so for me, I think this is something that's beneficial, and I've enjoyed it so far, and I hope that I will continue this throughout the year. Okay, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, clicking like on the clicking like and clicking the notification bell, and I look forward to seeing you again for some more videos. Thank you. Bye.
I'm still up in these hills, still air paying these bills, still air paying this tax, still trying to come out the race of rats. Don't matter what the salary be, I'm still in the wheel, my friend. Don't matter what the salary be, I'm still in the wheel, it's dead. Come out of school in debt, come out your girl and she still ain't left.